It's known as the muscle of your soul or the emotional muscle. When things happen in our lives, often you'll feel yourself, it's almost like a gut punch, and you hold it in. So when something really traumatic happens, you might notice that you're shaking. And then one of the first things that you will consciously do is you'll try and control that shake. You'll try and stop that. So today we're going to try and induce that. All right, so before we get into our Psoas release yoga class, I want to just let you know kind of what we're in for tonight. So your psoas muscle is a very deep abdominal muscle, and it's known as your emotional muscle. Your emotions get stored here, and what we want to try and do in this class is to trigger what's called neurogenic tremors to help release that energy. And I know it sounds very daunting and kind of scary when we have the word neuro and tremor in there. It is not either of those things. It's basically a regular yoga class where I'm going to work you pretty hard trying to play out your body so that when we get down right before that shavasana, our legs are shaking. That shaking is the tremoring. Things to know, this release can be quite emotional, so you may not want to go into sort of more intense or toxic, I don't know how your in-laws are, situations post Psoas release class. The other thing to remember is you are always in control. So if you're not enjoying that sensation, if you're not liking it, if you're not feeling you're benefiting from it, all you have to do when we get into that butterfly position and your legs start tremoring is you simply bring your legs together. You can start playing in supine twists, dropping your knees from one side to the other. But as soon as you bring those legs together, the tremoring just instantly stops. So 100% you have control of this class the entire time. We're going to start our practice today in child's pose. So sitting that tail back as close to your heels as you can, extending that spine, reaching the arms out front. Nice deep breath, full exhale. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the psoas muscle, so you can Google this later if you want, it's spelt with a P, so Psoas. Your psoas muscle is very, very deep, almost to your spine even. And when things happen, just gently sway the hips back and forth, taking that breath. When you're ready, drop the hips over to the left, take the torso over to the right, just stretch it out. Now, in the rest of the animal world, when something happens, you'll notice animals shake to release that energy off. Humans, for some reason, have stopped themselves from doing the shake. Make sure both sides get that big stretch. Bring yourself back to the center for cat-cow. Line it up so that your wrist and your elbow and your shoulders are all in line. Your knees and your hips are in line. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Round your back. Let your chin tuck. Gently lift your pelvic floor. Pull your belly in. Feel that big stretch. Neutral spine. Push the tail up to the sky. Roll the shoulders back. Open the chest forward. Oh, feel that big stretch. Now, very mindful. This shouldn't feel like compression or a tightness in your back. or a jamming in your back. Rather, it's an opening in the front. Now let's our breath guide us. Round as you exhale. Inhale as you open. Bring yourself up onto your knees. How are your knees feeling? If you need to, let's put some pillows under our knees to make this more comfortable. Keeping your hips and your knees as in line as you can. Reach the arms out, let the shoulders drop down out of the ears. Give yourself a little shimmy. Reach your hands up. Exhale, hips pointing forward at a twist. And you're just reaching behind your back. Alternate the sides. And again, if you want to, sync up the breath and the movement. So inhale, both hands come up. Exhale, both hands come down. Oh, sorry, one hand comes down. Don't get so worked up about one breath per movement. Give yourself enough time to feel the stretch, to feel the opening. Bring it to the center. Take it into your child's pose. Now, if you're like me and the legs struggle to walk to the front from down dog, then we're putting blocks under our hands, maybe a chair under your hands. Sit into your child's pose, roll your toes under, and let's take this to down dog. So lifting the hips up and back, gently pedaling your heels into the floor. Lengthen your spine, let your head and your neck go. Give your hips a little wiggle. Full exhale. Begin to walk your feet forward. Forward fold. Lift the tail higher. Exhale, decompress your spine. Elbows are soft. 3 or 4 deep breaths. Lift the tail higher, looking between your legs. Oh, letting your head and your neck go. Give it a wiggle. Oh. As you're ready, slowly, let's bring ourselves back up. Stack, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, hips over knees, knees over ankles, and just gently ease into it. Take the arms up. Remember, up is a subjective term. If your shoulders start squeezing into your ears, don't bring your hands higher. Draw your shoulders down. Keep the strength in the back. Ease in with those tail tilts, tail tucks. Open the chest, the sternum up to the sky. One more nice deep breath. Lift the heart up to the sky. It's your half sun salutation. Exhale, swan dive it forward, forward fold. Let your head and your neck go. Inhale, half lift, flatten your back, draw your shoulders back. Exhale, forward fold. Let it go. Let your head and your neck go. Inhale, sweep it up, deep breath up. Sit down into chair. All right, give chair a second. Maybe release your hands in your chair. So you're working that squat. And be mindful here that we're not arching the back or opening the chest too much, right? My chest is open, but I'm not drawing my shoulders back. And rather than hinging at the hips to get lower, I want you to push the tail down lower. Now feel the stretch. Feel the stretch into your calves. Feel the inner and the outer thighs. You say, this is good. This is really good. It's no issues. I can hold this. Make it harder by reaching the arms up over your head. All this is a heavier weight. Sink down into it. And you're going to feel For some of us, very quickly. For others, it's going to take a little bit longer. Your legs will start shaking. You get played out. When your legs just kind of feel like, okay, I could use a breath, then all you're going to do, tall mountain, open your chest, little back bend, half sun salutation, forward fold, let your head and your neck go, half lift, be really strong here. It doesn't matter if you're touching the floor. I just want your back flat, forward fold, tall mountain, and chair. Keep that flow going. But this time, I need you to find your edge. So if what you are doing is too easy, you're going to come down lower, dropping the hip down, not dropping the chest. Maybe you're going to lift the heels up off the floor. If you found it too hard, your knees were smashing together, you're going to bring your bum up higher, and maybe your hands are going to come to your heart. Keep that flow going. Tall mountain. Exhale, forward fold, let it go. Let your head and your neck release. Half lift. Forward fold. Tall mountain. And chair. Keep that sequence going. Find your edge. And we'll talk about the edge a little bit more. Most of you in the classroom know what I'm talking about today when I say the edge, but some of you watching this on recording might not know what I'm referring to. Keep the flow going. Nice. Now, the next time you sit in your chair, you can hold your chair or just bring it up to mountain. Your edge is an organic spot. It will change just depending on the time of the day. Your edge is the spot where your physical work, your physical effort meets your energy and your breath, your pranayama. So I'm not doing too much that I'm holding my breath or I'm talking really choppy, but I'm also not doing so little that I can just be swaying and talk really quickly. Find mountain, reach the arms up, draw the shoulders back. For some of us, we might interlock our hands. Now, again, that doesn't make this posture better, especially if now you're shrugging your shoulders up. Find your edge. So is there a balance between the effort in your belly and your back and the effort in your shoulders? Does the energy in your hands and your feet feel very similar? Full exhale. You say, yeah, but my breath is still pretty easy. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to maybe lift your heels up off the floor. Or you might close your eyes. Or maybe you're going to bring your toes and your heels closer together. Or you might do all of those things. Everybody's edge is different. Now you might notice that I'm starting to take deeper breaths. My conversation is maybe getting a little bit choppier, but as I was breathing deeper, I'm able to find that balance. That's the edge. I'm balancing the work that I'm doing with the effort I'm putting into it. Exhale, release all of that off. Rock yourself back and forth, side to side. Maybe give your body just a little shake and think about intention. So as we're going through this practice today, we know there's going to be physically some harder things to try and play your body out. You know that. I've told you that. As I'm cueing those things, within those postures, find your edge. It's going to be different than mine. When you're ready, step back with the leg that's closest to your screen or your left leg for warrior one. Square your hips off. Make sure there's an ease in the low back. Lift the chest, draw the shoulders back. Reach the arms up. Now, as you're exhaling, could you sink your tail downward? Maybe you're going to look up to the sky. Perhaps you're noticing the stretch in that back leg, the stretch in the abdominal muscles. Be mindful here. If what you're feeling is a jamming in your low back, change something. Release the back leg forward, release the hands. Rock yourself back and forth, side to side. Do the exact same thing on the other side. Step it back as far as you can. Both feet needs to stay grounded into the earth. Square the hips, shoulders are down out of the ears. Feel that energy. Notice your breath. Notice your body. Be present. This time the exhale is going to take you into lunge. So bring your hands to either side of that front leg. Use your blocks if you want, or the floor. Take the back leg all the way back. Step that leg all the way back into lunge. Push through your back heel. Front knee is right over top of the ankle. Keeping your weight even, right side, left side. Lift your chest, but keep your hips where they are. So if you felt your legs come up, get back down again. If you need to, drop your back knee. Lift your chest. Oh, big stretch. Maybe reach the arms up over your head. And again, I'm trying to play yourself out. If you think, I'm too wobbly here, bring your hands down. Hold on. Feel that energy. You can hear my heart rate is coming up. This is challenging, but it's doable. It's my edge. Exhale, step the back leg forward. Forward fold. All the way up, deep breath. Standing camel, both hands are going to come behind. You're lifting the heart up to the sky. Ease into it, tail, tilt, tail, tuck. Open the chest. Oh, let the shoulders drop. Feel that energy. Be mindful here. If this feels like I'm jamming my back, it's because I'm jamming my back. I want to feel the balance of energy around my body. Feel the flow. As you're ready, tall mountain to forward fold. Let it go. No reaching. Just let it fall. Give it a little wiggle. Half lift. Flatten your back. Draw your shoulder blades back. Be a straight line from the tip of your head through your tail. That straight line might be perpendicular to the floor. It might be up higher. It might be down lower, but it's a straight line. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, sweep it up, deep breath up. All right, sit down into your chair. Maybe lift your heels up off the floor. Find your edge. If you're getting wobbly, if you're falling all over the place, that's not going to help us. You might end up injured. We don't want to be injured here. We want to play ourselves out. We want to find our edge. We want the challenge, but I need to stay safe. Tall mountain, little back bend. Forward fold. Half lift, lunge on the other side. Step all the way back into lunge. I love my blocks. I use them all the time to help stabilize. I probably don't need them, but they're useful. They help stabilize. All right, look for the stretch first. If you're not finding the stretch, stay with your hands stabilized, sink down into it, push that knee away. As you feel the stretch, add more weight on. That's all I'm doing here, bringing my hands up. It's adding more weight. If you feel it jamming in your low back, change something. Slow the breath and notice. Exhale the hands to either side of that front leg. Front leg is going to come behind you. Downward dog, drop the knees to the floor. Sit back into your child's pose. Nice. Sway the hips. Massage the internal organs. Inhale, bring yourself up onto your knees. Put your feet so that they're straight back in line with your knees and your hips. So most of us will have our toes touching. Line it up. So second toe, ankle, knee, hip, shoulders are all in line. Gently push the hips forward. Lift the heart, lift the sternum up. Let the shoulders drop. And then one arm at a time, take it behind. Maybe on your hip, maybe on your bum, on your hamstring, maybe your calf. Maybe use your block. Maybe reach across the body. The goal isn't to reach across the body. The goal is to open up the front of the body. If there is a goal, right? Open up the front of the body. So if you're sitting back so you can reach the other side, you're losing the intention. Maybe that's a better word than goal. The intention. Bring it through to the center. Same thing on the other side. So the intention is to open up the front of the body. Maybe you're reaching across, you're adding a twist to it. Bring it through to the center. Exhale. Take yourself back into that downward facing dog. Now you'll notice that I've put my blocks on a different level. Because I don't have a ton of hip flexibility, I'm pretty good. I've got what I need, but certainly there's people with more hip flexibility. When I'm going from down dog to lunge, I usually keep my hands up a little bit higher. This allows me a little bit more space, and it makes it easier for me to bring my legs through in that nice straight line and not flip my legs out to the side. Downward facing dog. Roll the toes underneath. Lift the hips up and back. Your hands could be on chairs here if you needed to. Feel that energy. Fingers through tail. Gently pedal your heels into the floor. Look forward. Inhale, come forward. You're in a plank. I'm after a push-up here. Lower and lift. Maybe drop to your knees first. Lower, lift. You might get chest to deck, you might not, but keep it nice and straight. Downward facing dog. Step forward with the leg farthest from the TV or your right leg. High lunge, reach it up. Beautiful. Okay, we're moving a little faster. You can stay slower. That's fine. Exhale. Front leg is going to come behind you. Down dog. If you need a little break, drop to child's pose. When you're ready, forward to plank. Push up. Lower. Lift. If you want to add a back bend to that, go for it. But again, don't feel like you have to. Down dog. Look forward, step forward with the opposite leg. So I needed a little extra help there. Front knees over the ankle, so I'm safe. Lift the chest. Perfect. Okay, release that off. Front leg goes behind you. Forward to plank. Lower and lift. If you want to start working back bends here, do that. Exhale it back. Same leg is coming forward, the leg closest to the screen, placing it between your hands. Drop the back knee, sink down and forward with the hips, lift that chest up. Okay, Stability first. Hands could be on your blocks. Then build it up. And then add a back bend. And we're going to stay here for about a minute. I want you to notice where your back foot is. So if it's closer to the center line, for most of us, that's going to be easier to balance. Keeping it in line, second toe, ankle, knee, hip. That should be doable. Might be a little challenging. Taking it to the outside, that becomes very challenging. Listen to your body. If you can't go straight, put your hands on the floor, stabilize yourself. Because in any yoga practice, you need a balance between the effort that you're putting into things and the things we're trying to achieve. And it's not about looking like a posture or looking like a pose. Down dog. Remember, you can take a break here if you want. But it's about getting the intention of the pose, forward to plank, lowering and lifting, and getting stronger each time we do this, and more body aware each time we do this. Step forward, leg farthest from the screen, or your right leg. Drop the back knee. Lift the chest. Reach the arms up. Might not happen in the same time frame as it's happening for me. Notice that back foot. Notice if you choose to have your toe flat or rolled under. Either of those things aren't better, by the way. But it is habitual movements. Maybe you balance better one way. Maybe you balance better the other way. Start to recognize the things that you're doing. Now this time coming out, and I'll cue it quite quickly, and then we can get into it. Bring the hands to the inside of the leg into lizard. So if you haven't done lizard, legs on the outside, hands balanced, and I want you to play here. So maybe you twist towards the front leg. Maybe you twist away from the front leg. You might bind it. There's so many different things you can do. I just want you to feel the stretch, enjoy the moment. And then when you're ready, you're going to bring that leg to the center for lunge. I'm going through this quickly, and then we'll take a sequence. And maybe you're going to roll the back toe underneath to lunge. From there, drop the heel, bring yourself into the center, into a bit of a sunflower. You might stand up and drop the tail down, little play. Over to the other side of your mat. So some of you will be looking away from the screen. That's okay. Drop your back knee. Take it into lizard. So that hip's going out. Open it up. Play. Twisting, binding. Anything that feels good. Then you'll take it back again, and you're just going to go back and forth. Here's another option. Maybe you're going to bring the leg to the center into a lunge and keep your back knee on the floor. So slightly harder because I don't have as much space. You'll bring that leg in. Front knee still stays forward for a bit. Okay, there you go. That's like a kneeling warrior 2. You'll notice this knee wants to drop in, and you will let it, but hold open first. Drop that knee in. So at this point, your feet are out. Some people can sit down. They can do all kinds of stuff here. I can't, but it doesn't hurt my knees, so I know I'm safe. From here, I'm trying to lift this leg up without all my body weight going. So I have to put my hands on my blocks. Keeping my weight nice and even, I put a little bit of weight into my hands, lift that leg up, heel toe it in, dragon on the other side. Okay, play. Add that lizard. Open, twist, anything you want. Bring it through to the center. Maybe I keep the knee on the ground. I don't have to, remember? Drop that down. Maybe you can sit down here. It's hip flexibility. But don't let tight hips end up injuring your knees. right? Some of you are going to be able to sit on the ground and you're going to be able to bring this leg up without leaning over to the side like I just did. So there's so much room for most people to play here and to build their own strength. Okay, listen to your body. It's not about who gets the most reps back and forth. It's about what are you noticing? What muscles are you using as you're going through things? Is that benefiting what happened in my life today? Because if I'm just causing myself more stress, what is the purpose of that? I'm trying to get you to open your hips. I'm trying to get you to have some pretty big stretches in your hips. I'm trying to get you to work on building strength in your hips. So tons of options. This is yogi playtime, and you're playing. The next time you're at the center, slowly bring yourself up. Take yourself all the way up. Deep breath. Exhale, bring your hands through heart. Now you get to make a choice. As long as your knees point in the same direction as your toes and your hips, then you're going to stay safe. It's when my knees cave in and my toes point out, that's when things start to get rough. So I find this harder, but I want to work harder today. So I'm going to go with my toes and my knees forward, and you'll see I brought my feet in a little bit. For me, this would be easier. Choose what you want. Here's your sequence. Inhale, bring it up, deep breath up. All the way up. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at the hips. Let your head and your neck release. Inhale, bring it all the way up. Okay, 5-point star. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, forward fold. Now we're going to do 2 like that, and then I'm going to change it up just a little bit more. Inhale up. Use your back. You're strong here. Middle back, upper back, lower back. Lower it down. Maybe lift your heels up off the floor. Maybe just lift one heel up off the floor. But you're trying to keep your balance very even so that I'm same side of, or same amount of work rather, in the right side of the body as in the left side of the body. Can I sit down lower? Not can I lean forward? Can I get my tail down lower? Feel that work. Nice. Now we're going to change things up. Bring the hands through your heart. And I want you to think about energy. You're going back down into that squat. This time I'm going to open my hips just because I know it's going to be easier for me. Press the negative energy away. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, let go of all that negative stuff. All that stuff you tell yourself that isn't true. Inhale, sweep in some of that stuff that you know is right, but you always have to doubt yourself. You don't need to doubt yourself. Bring that in. Oh, yeah. Exhale, get rid of that stuff that isn't working. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, forward fold. It's a 2-breath sequence, team. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, hands through heart, and push that stuff away. Lift your heels, whatever you need to do. Big breath up. Add a little back bend if you want. Exhale, forward fold. Swan dive it forward. Let your head and your neck go. Inhale, bring it up. Start to get really vocal with your breath. Feel that energy around your body. You are strong. Powerful. Perfect. Just as you are right now, just as this class finds you, you're perfect.
Nice. Hold this pose. Shoulder blades are coming together. Maybe the heels are lifting up off the ground. Eyes might have to be open because you start to fall forward. Roll the belly into the spine. Feel that power in your whole body. Slow that breath down. You can keep doing that flow. You don't have to hold. You're choosing what is challenging for you. Pull the belly in. Sink down lower if you can. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, take yourself to the top of your mat. Tall mountain with a little back bend. Forward fold, step, walk, hop back into down dog. Drop the knees and bring yourself into a seated and then lying posture. If you need to, put something under your head. Soles of the feet are going to come together. So remember, if we don't like that tremoring sensation, you just close your legs and you go into supine twist. All right, soles of your feet are touching. Push your low back into the floor. Let your hips open as much as they can, but don't let your back arch. Push the energy of your feet together. Push your hands into the floor. Shoulders draw down out of the ears. Make your neck longer. I need you to lift your bum up off the ground, but only enough that I could slide a piece of paper underneath it. And make sure the weight is even between your feet and your shoulders. So if right now you feel like, well, I'm kind of pushing into my shoulders, release it all off. Little tail tilt, tail tuck, start it all again. Lift the hips just enough. Keep that energy very balanced and even. Now, sometime, for some people, it'll be like 10 seconds from now. Other people, it might be a minute from now. You'll probably, and not everybody gets this, and it is different for every person. But you may probably, my intention is, start to feel like your legs are shaking a little bit. Okay, once that happens, and just let it go for a second, you're going to put your bum on the ground, but you're not going to close your legs yet. You're going to leave your legs open. So when you feel like, okay, I think I'm starting to tremor, just put your bum on the ground and just breathe. And you think, well, but now I stopped. Just slowly, like half an inch, bring your legs closer together and ease. And notice the breath and just be present. Don't try to control it. If you try to control it, it will likely just go away. Sit with it. We're going to give ourselves about 5 minutes before our knees should be together. It's a lot of time. So as the tremoring slows down, you bring the legs or the knees together like half a centimeter, just until that tremoring starts again, until that movement starts again. The more I try to control a situation, 9 times out of 10, I have less control. And this isn't easy for me, when I relinquish my control, when I let it go, when I just say, okay, I'm going to commit to just going with the flow and letting things happen, 9 times out of 10, I end up getting exactly what I want. And I end up being more in control in those situations. And it sounds like it should be easy, but it is not. All part of that practice, that creating balance, the work and the rest, the learning to let things go. It's not uncommon for people to find crying in a tremor release. This is a somatic movement because you've got everything moving together, and just let it move. I don't know where you are, and I don't want you to change anything. I want you to take the control. You are in control. This is one of the best things I love about the Zoom format. Nobody needs this room. You don't have to leave. You're starting to feel like, okay, but I had things planned and it was all timed out for me and I need to get going. Well, then, okay. All you do is you bring your legs together. That will stop any tremoring. Do a couple little tail tilts, tail tucks. Exhale, take your knees to one side, supine twist. Oh, feel that stretch across your body. Bring it through to the center. Please, if you're still doing tremoring and it's working for you and you're enjoying it, just stay. Even when you're ready, find your way into Shavasana. So very gently, tail tilt, tail tuck. Push that low back into the floor. Lengthen your spine. Make your neck really, really long. And then as you're exhaling, you're going to take the legs out long. And if you start to notice that your back is lifting up off the floor, just slide a pillow or something under your legs. So now your back can stay connected to the floor. Lengthen your spine. Ah, full relief. Eyes can be closed or opened. I will bring us out as a guide, but again, here's the power of having these virtual classes. You can turn me off and stay as long as you need. Look for that release.
you're still doing tremor release before you go into Shavasana, just make sure that you give yourself that little time just to kind of twist a little bit of movement into the hips, and then set yourself up for Shavasana. And again, you don't have to do it on anybody's time frame. It's all you. As you're choosing to bring yourself out of Shavasana, you want to do that very slowly as well, very mindfully. You want to leave your mat with as many benefits from a yoga practice as is possible. Start the movement slowly and then build it in and build it up. And on your own time, maybe roll to one side, get that movement into the spine, tail tilt, tail tuck, and maybe slowly bringing yourself up into what is a comfortable seated position. So those of you that haven't been with me a lot, you'll notice that lots of the time I'll sit up on a block, and that's simply because I do. I have very tight hips. I have a very short torso, and it's not, I can, but I have to work harder. So certainly at the end of the class, I've had an enjoyable class. I had a nice release, a good experience. I want to be comfortable. Oh. Tilt your head to one side. Bring the chin to the chest, over to the other side. Sit up tall, let your shoulders drop, and think about all of this positive energy that's around us. We released the things that aren't working, making room for the things that are. Namaste. Thank you for sharing this time with me. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. Remember to like, comment, and share. And most important, don't forget to subscribe.